That budget chainsaw and the premium 1-2 shelves over, there is a good chance they are the same saw, the same engine, the same crankcase, wearing different plastic and carrying a different price tag. One Swedish company quietly owns 6 chainsaw brands you think are rivals, and for years it sold you the exact same machine under different names. By the end of this, you'll never look at that wall of saws the same way again. If you have walked into a Lowe's, a Tractor Supply, or scrolled the chainsaw aisle online, you probably think you are looking at a competitive marketplace. You see Husqvarna and think Swedish engineering. You see Poulan and think budget homeowner saw. You see Jonsered and think pro logging heritage. You see McCulloch and think the legendary American brand the old-timers swore by. You see RedMax and think commercial grade. These feel like rival companies fighting for your money. They are not. Every single one of those names is owned by one corporation, the Husqvarna Group, headquartered in Stockholm, Sweden, with revenue over $5 billion a year. Husqvarna, Poulan, Poulan Pro, Jonsered, McCulloch, RedMax, plus Weed Eater, Flymo, and Gardena on the lawn side. One company, the whole shelf. When you downgrade from a Husqvarna to a Poulan to save money, you are not switching companies. You are buying a cheaper product line from the same boardroom that made the expensive one. And the way they built this empire is one of the quietest consolidations in the history of American power equipment. To understand how we got here, you have to go back to a company that did not even start as a chainsaw maker. Husqvarna began in Sweden in 1689 as a weapons foundry, building muskets for the Swedish army. Over the centuries, it made everything from sewing machines to bicycles to motorcycles before it ever cut a log. It built its first chainsaw in 1959. But the empire was not built by engineering. It was built by acquisition. Through the Electrolux Group and then as the spun-off Husqvarna Group, the company went on a decades-long buying spree that swallowed its competition one name at a time. Jonsered, the Swedish brand with genuine racing and logging heritage, absorbed. Poulan, founded by a Louisiana logger named Claude Poulan, absorbed. McCulloch, the Los Angeles company whose saws built the American logging legend, absorbed, its name now slapped on budget equipment. RedMax, the American name for the Japanese Zenoa saws, was absorbed. Each brand kept its name, its loyal customers, and its reputation, and each quietly became a single rung on one company's pricing ladder. But here is the part that should concern you. If a rival brand can be created by taking your own saw and bolting on different plastic, what does that tell you about how this corporation actually thinks about the saw in your hands? Because that is exactly what the cross-reference proves. On the chainsaw collector forums, the kind where you need to prove you actually run a saw before they let you post, the model maps are public and specific. The Husqvarna 361, 365, and 372 XP share their core with the Jonsered CS 2166, 2171, and 2172. The Husqvarna 455 Rancher lines up with the Jonsered 2152. The Husqvarna 550 XP, 555, and 562 XP line up directly with the Jonsered 2252, 2253, 2258, and 2260. Same platform, same internals, engineered in the same place. The only thing that diverges before the saw reaches the shelf is the color of the housing, the badge, and the price tag. A pro logger buying a Jonsered thought he was buying a different philosophy of saw than the homeowner reaching for the orange Husqvarna 2 feet over. He was buying the same machine with a different sticker and a different markup. And it gets worse, because once a company owns every name on the shelf, it has no reason to keep all of them alive. Watch what happened next. Poulan and Poulan Pro, once one of the best-selling chainsaw names in America, are effectively dead. Go to the Husqvarna Group's own brand site today, and you will not find an active Poulan chainsaw lineup. RedMax still shows up, but the chainsaws have quietly vanished from it. McCulloch, the brand that powered American logging in the 50s and 60s, the saws with genuine history, has been reduced to a name on cheap consumer equipment that a serious cutter would never touch. This is the endgame of consolidation. You do not buy your rivals to keep their products competing with yours. You buy them to take the shelf space, harvest the brand loyalty, and then retire the names once the customers have nowhere else to go. The competition you thought protected you was bought and switched off. So if the entire shelf feeds one Swedish parent, does that mean every chainsaw is a corporate illusion? No, because there is one company that watched all of this happen and refused to play. And it is, not coincidentally, the best-selling chainsaw brand in the world. That company is Stihl. Founded by Andreas Stihl in Germany in 1926, Stihl has never been bought, never merged, and never gone public. To this day, the company is privately held by the Stihl family. It has no cheaper sister brand sitting on the discount aisle wearing a different name. There is no budget Stihl and no pro Stihl made on the same line with different plastic, because the family that owns the name treats it as the most valuable thing they own. And here's the decision that tells you everything. Stihl refuses to sell its chainsaws through Home Depot or Lowe's. You can only buy a Stihl from one of more than 10,000 independent servicing dealers, the same direct-to-professional model used by the most respected tool companies in the world. That dealer has a financial reason to stand behind the saw, because his whole business depends on the cutter coming back, not on a weekend impulse buy. Stihl has been the #1 selling chainsaw brand on Earth since 1971, and it got there by doing the opposite of the consolidation playbook. Echo, owned by Yamabiko of Japan, belongs in the same conversation, built on professional-grade engineering and a dealer service model, rather than the race to the bottom of the big box bin. The next time you stand in front of that wall of orange and gray and green saws, remember what you now know. Those brands are not competing with each other. They are performing competition for your benefit while the profit flows to the same Swedish parent. The portfolio is counting on you to be distracted by the color of the housing and the name on the side, so you never ask who actually built the saw. This is the same playbook Luxottica used to convince you Ray-Ban and Oakley were rivals when one company owned both. It is the same strategy the beer giants used buying up every craft label they could find. Whenever you see a wall of choices and feel like you are in a free market, ask yourself who signs the checks. Check the parent company. Check whether the rival you are comparing is just the same machine in a different shell. And never underestimate the value of a chainsaw brand that simply is not, and never has been, for sale. If you found this fascinating, hit subscribe for more.